Good morning, Internet land. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to, as my niece has been calling it all week long, Christmas Eve. So that's today, the day before Christmas, depending on what time zone you're in. Maybe it's 2 nights before Christmas, 2 afternoons before Christmas, or 2 evenings before Christmas. But either way, I'm so glad you are all here. And now that Instagram has caught up, we will officially begin our broadcast. So welcome everyone to another episode of DIY Wellness. This is the show for people taking personal growth into their own hands. And on this show, we like to present different tools or exercises or modes of well-being and then try them out, see what resonates, and toss the rest. This is an exciting episode for me because we're going to be talking about the true meaning of joy to the world, what joy actually is, and then on top of that, how to survive the holidays where despite joy being the meaning of them, joy is oftentimes very, very scarce in the way that we approach them in this workaday productivity culture that has oftentimes lost sight of the true meaning in place of the etiquette, the socialization, the expectation, all of that. So we're going to get into that right now. And I'm really excited to share this with all of you because the first thing is that we think joy is an emotion. We think it's a feeling like delight's cousin, but it's not. It's far deeper than that. Joy is the natural ground of existence, which reveals itself as we heal trauma and transcend cultural programming. If you doubt that this is true, then look around at the joy inherent in all of nature and missing in only one place, the human verbal mind. So in today's episode, we are going to learn what joy really is and how it's connected to trauma. We're going to learn how the holidays bury joy by obscuring safety. And then we're going to learn how to turn your triggers rather into gameplay and basically put the fun back in dysfunction. So here's the deal. We tend to think of joy as an emotion, like happiness, excitement, warmth, but joy is none of these things. Joy is not a feeling. Joy is a state of being. I define joy as this: presence plus non-judgment. Or another way of saying that would be truth plus safety. Presence is staying with your truth, and non-judgment is staying with your truth safely. So that's it. That's the secret formula for joy. Presence means I am here and I'm willing to feel what's actually here. In acceptance and commitment therapy, they define trauma as pain plus I can't feel that pain. So presence is a way of tiptoeing towards the pain, not just so we can experience it and feel all painful, but so that we can feel the truth of where we are and then not judge that truth. It's not what we wish was here, not what we are performing for other people, but what's actually true right now in my body, my heart, my mind, and my spirit. So that's presence. Non-judgment means I can let this experience exist without shaming it, without labeling it, without making a story out of it. And here's the kicker. Presence without non-judgment leads to overwhelm because now you're self-aware and present with all of the stuff that you were trying to avoid. So presence without non-judgment or truth without safety leads to overwhelm. Non-judgment without presence or safety without truth just leads to drift, bypass, chaos, overindulgence. But when the two things merge, when the body feels safe enough for you to tell the truth, that's joy. Joy is what emerges when your nervous system is not in threat mode and you're not filtering your life through cultural programming, shoulds, and inner criticism. Joy really is the natural ground of being. The animals, the trees, the rivers, the way the wind moves through a field, that's a kind of effortless rightness, a built-in joy. And where it's missing, like I said before, our verbal mind. Because the human mind adds commentary, meaning, judgment, comparison, fear, social scripts, cultural programming. All of that is noise. So joy isn't something you manufacture. Joy is what's left when the noise quiets. And trauma, how does trauma fit in here? Well, trauma disrupts both sides of the equation. Trauma disrupts safety, so the nervous system stays on high alert. And trauma disrupts truth because we learn to hide parts of ourselves in order to survive. So of course, joy feels far away. It's not because we're broken. It's because the two ingredients can't coexist yet. That's why trauma healing isn't about feeling better. It's about restoring access to joy's two ingredients: truth and safety, presence and non-judgment. So that's what joy is. That's the truth of joy. It's being able to be with your present truth in a way that feels safe, where you're not judging it. So let's talk a little bit about why joy to the world feels like a cosmic joke during the holidays. First, holidays are a nervous system nightmare. We all know that. They poke exactly the places where we lose safety and truth. Here's how the holidays attack safety or non-judgment. You're around old family roles that your body remembers, even if your mind doesn't agree with them anymore. And so you end up like performing, or trying to be the peacekeeper or whatever your old patterns were. There's something in psychology called FOG, F period, O period, G period, which means fear, obligation, guilt. And that becomes the operating system around the holidays for us. We fear disappointing people. We feel obligated. And then if we decide we don't want to do something, we feel guilty. So we go around in this fog. That fog of fear, obligation, and guilt, joy can't come then. Okay. And so you also brace for comments, dynamics, and expectations. You're pressured to be polite, to be grateful, to keep the peace. Everyone is emotionally overloaded and under-resourced at this time of year. Your nervous system is like, okay, we're not safe here. Shut the gates. But what are you shutting out? Your present moment experience, your raw felt sense of truth. And then that's joy. So when safety goes offline, your ability to practice non-judgment goes offline with it. That's why you're suddenly going to hear the inner critic louder. Your anxiety will spike, or you find yourself people-pleasing without even choosing to do it. Knee-jerk, boom. Because that's your nervous system trying to keep you safe at a time when safety feels like it's at an all-time low in our strange and backwards culture. And then the holidays tend to attack presence and truth as well, because this season asks us to perform, to be cheerful, to be grateful, to not rock the boat, to go along with the script. So you stop telling the truth about things like what you actually feel, what you actually want, where your boundaries actually are. And if you're in a family where emotional honesty was punished, your body remembers that. So presence becomes risky. Put these together: no safety, no non-judgment, no presence, no truth. And without truth and safety, presence and non-judgment, joy disappears. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't feel joyful in environments that don't support truth and safety. Your body is wise, and it's trying to protect you. The last thing I want you to get as a message from this is to go and be joyful in all of those environments where you don't feel safety and truth. It's quite the opposite. I want you to understand why it's okay that you don't feel joyful in environments where you can't feel safe and true. That's natural. You're not dysfunctional for that, even though the holidays are trying to force joy out of you, to squeeze it out of us like a wet rag. Okay, so what do we do with all this? How do we turn holiday triggers into joy? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk solutions. I'm going to give you two things here. One, a quick practice to restore joy, and we're going to do it together in just a moment. And then two, a playful outer tool from my mentor and life coach and Oprah's life coach. Her name is Martha Beck. She's a best-selling author, crazy, amazing books, really good. I recommend anyone, if this intrigues you at all, what I'm about to tell you from Martha, go find her work. She's awesome. But she has this thing called Dysfunctional Family Bingo. So I'm going to explain that to you as well. And then you guys can search up Martha Beck's Dysfunctional Family Bingo, and you can find the bingo card and the instructions. And it's really a way, these two practices, the one we're going to do together and then Dysfunctional Family Bingo, these together will help you survive the holidays with your inner wizard intact, with your higher self, your true nature intact. So the joy micro practice to stay rooted in presence and non-judgment is this. Step one, you just pause for presence. So you take one breath, and we can do this together now. So just wherever you are, take a nice deep breath in. And then you ask, what is here right now? This is presence. Emotions, sensations, thoughts, just name it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to fix it. You just tell the truth. That is enough. That's enough for presence. And then step two, right now, as we're sitting with whatever shows up, we're going to add non-judgment. We're going to make sure we're safe. So tuning into what's here right now, and then ask yourself, can I allow this experience? Whatever's here, whatever emotions, sensations, or thoughts, Can I allow this experience for 10 seconds without judging it? You can even set a timer. No labeling, no analyzing, just letting it exist. That's presence, that's safety. So imagine wrapping whatever you're feeling in warm neutrality. And then step 3, just notice the shift, however subtle. What softens when truth and safety exist together? When the inner critic might still be there, but you don't listen to it the same way. You notice it, and you can even bring safety and truth to the critical voice. So what happens when you witness what's going on in there instead of trying to fight it? That tiny opening, that's softness, that's joy. Not excitement, not holiday cheer, certainly, but ground of being joy. That's the doorway. The joy that doesn't need circumstances in order to be there. The joy that can exist because you're showing up for your truth and you're showing up in a way that's safe and non-judgmental. When we do that for ourselves, we allow joy. So I hope that helped, and just know that that's a practice you can take with you. You can sneak off to the bathroom at your dysfunctional family dinner party and bring yourself some joy by just noticing what's there, allowing it to be without judgment, taking a deep breath, and then going back into the battlefield. Okay. So now the other thing I want to share with you guys is called Dysfunctional Family Bingo. So this is a tool that brings levity to the chaos. And Martha Beck created this. It's a brilliant. And so what you do is you make a bingo card, but instead of putting on there like B11, I42, underneath the letters, instead of numbers, you write in family dynamics that you're expecting to happen that usually trigger you. Like, oh, my mother-in-law is going to drink too much wine, or Uncle Joe's going to give us guilt trips, or, Aunt Susan is going to give us her martyr monologue, or, Frank is going to do his political rants, or someone's going to give me backhanded compliments, or this person always interrupts, or whatever the things are that trigger you. You write them all on the bingo card. And then you have a buddy who's also playing bingo. They don't even need to be at the same party as you. They could be at a different party with their own triggers. But now, anytime something happens that would normally trigger you, you're like, ooh, I get bingo. I get to put it on my bingo card. And you text back and forth with your buddy, or it could be someone that's at the party with you. That's fine. Caution, don't let other people see your bingo card. This isn't a way of spreading messages to people passive aggressively. This is for you. So you keep it private. But it changes the nature of everything that would have triggered you now into game play. So every time something happens that you were expecting that normally would make you miserable, you check a box, you circle the box. And here's why this works. It keeps you in presence because you're not like getting absorbed by the behaviors. You're just noticing them. And it keeps you in non-judgment because now you're observing and you're excited to get points. So the judgment shifts into, ooh, yay, thank you for being toxic today. And then it also keeps your inner wizard online. It interrupts the trauma trance that like, I've got to disassociate for this whole party in order to get through it. Instead, you're there, you're present, you're looking for it all. And then you're just jotting it down, observer, detached. And it turns triggers into data instead of identity. So you're not mocking your family. You're really not. You're reclaiming your own clarity. This is how you put the fun in dysfunction. So search it up. Search up Martha Beck's Dysfunctional Family Bingo. You can find her blog post, download the card, read the instructions, and then play along. This is something I literally give to my students. I'm a professor, and whenever I have classes in the fall, I give this to my students before Thanksgiving or Christmas. And when we come back after break, we have amazing stories about how the family holiday wasn't as arduous, wasn't as toxic, didn't have as negative of an effect on them because they brought play to it. The triggers might have all still happened. The dinners could have all like crumbled into smithereens, but the students don't feel it the same way. What they feel instead is like I said, a reclaiming of their clarity. So try it out, see how it works. And remember the micro practice you can sneak off and do in the bathroom. So today we talked about what joy actually is, presence and non-judgment, why the holidays tend to bury both ingredients. So you're not crazy. It's absolutely natural for you to have a hard time feeling joy at the holidays during this joyless culture. So we also talked about how to create micro moments of joy from inside your own system. That's the sneaking away to the bathroom thing. And then lastly, I just told you about Dysfunctional Family Bingo, and it's a playful survival tool. So joy is not something you chase. It's something that emerges when your body feels safe enough for you to tell the truth. And the best part of this, you can practice this anywhere, even in the middle of a holiday dinner. So if this episode resonated, share it with someone who needs a little more ease this holiday season. And you can catch up on past episodes at DIYWellnessLive.com or listen on your favorite podcast app. And if you want to go deeper in this work, head to thebrianhogan.com or click the link in my bio. DIY wellness means do it yourself, but it does not mean you have to do it all by yourself. From the intersection of creativity and well-being, I trust you, humanity. Much love, everybody. Happy holidays.